interesting day yesterday, posting that music video on sight reading. Right after that, I started an exchange of comments with a young girl who had posted a Beethoven bagatelle. This is her page number in case you would like to see the form that that exchange of ideas took. Some people are suggesting that this might be something to pursue. I've been teaching since I was 8 years old because I began when I was 2.5 lessons, and I guess people thought I was ready to teach when I turned 8. If you want to learn more about my musical career, you can go to my website. After sending Gary my suggestions about sight reading and getting his response, which started out, okay, and then seemed to still exude a certain anxiety. The name of his initial video was Frustration. These feelings do not help. Frustration does not help. In fact, it causes a lot of problems. We put very high demands on ourselves when we're starting to learn something, and the students that have the highest demands on themselves inevitably move the most slowly. It seems to me that Gary has an idea of something that he is just going to do, and there's a lot of determination and desire and frustration involved. And this could be a lot of the problem. I could help him more if I knew a little bit more about his level. It may be too soon for him to even be worrying about reading. Reading has nothing to do with playing the piano. It's a different process entirely. Historically, people did not learn music by reading music. They learned by rote, because printed music just was not available. So that in some ways was better because they were focused on learning how to play the harpsichord or the piano. To address Gary, do you know the names of the lines and spaces? Quickly, and you can identify them immediately, what they're called. This isn't necessarily a requirement for reading. It helps, but do you know intervals? Do you know that one line to the next line is a third? Or one space to the next space, up or down, is a third? Do you know what that means physically to your hand and to the keyboard? If you can identify a third as being that, you know exactly how to place your hand. You don't have to know, if you're in a good starting position, you don't have to even know the names of the notes. You know up a third. That's a skip of one note. That's a skip of one key. That's a skip of one finger. That's all you have to do. If you see a space to the next space up, to the next space up, 3 notes, do you see that that's 1, 3, 5, a triad, a chord? All you need is one finger of it, and then you put the others around it, up or down. These kinds of things are helpful. The exchange with P-Girl 5 was about whether or not one could skip from the first bagatelle to the third bagatelle and still have musical sense of that transition key-wise, and we talked about that. There are many, many levels that we could discuss here. Music lessons, you know, that idea has pretty much disappeared. It's piano lessons, clarinet lessons, violin lessons, learning to master an instrument, learning to play, That word play, I'm afraid, has really disappeared. It's not play anymore. It's work. This is not necessarily helpful to your musical experience. This should be giving you pleasure. Even the figuring out of how to do it all should be a pleasurable experience for you to function at your best. We could have something like a master class here, so that music could be discussed on all levels. That's the nice thing about a master class, is you can learn something from watching other people learning, no matter what the level is. We could discuss Kernberger's theory of harmonic rhythm as applied to the music of Bach. We could discuss Baroque dance forms. We could discuss the role of cadenza in 18th and early 19th century music. Or we can discuss the C major scale. Or we can discuss the position of the hand on the keyboard. So how we decide to work with this is going to be up to you as individuals. If you would like some feedback on some work that you are playing, you could send that to me. If you're shy, you could send it as a private bid. There's a lot of possibilities. It's an interesting idea to think about. Keep cool. Enjoy being at your instrument. Become one with your instrument. Do you improvise at all? Do you sit down there before you have your big operation of what you're going to get today and play one note and listen to it for a while? You can make instant music on your instrument. You just have to play very little and listen a lot.